Hello, America. Let's talk just a little bit and think through just a little bit why there appears to be such a strong partisan divide on reopening. Some of it, I know, can be attributed to the anti-Trumperism that is just, baked into our culture now. The people who will apparently are willing to do anything to get rid of President Trump. But I think there's a lot more to it on this reopening. And I think it goes to a mindset between conservatives and liberal progressives. We choose who we are, right? I mean, there's not something in our DNA that makes us a progressive or in our DNA that makes us a conservative, right? I mean, my DNA shows that I'm white and I have white hair now. It's going to come along. We have DNA of black people and Hispanic people, of men and women, and billions of different things that are baked in there. I don't think that our worldview choice is among those. Now, a familial structure and the community in which we're brought up in may indeed create some differences there. I mean, we have a large part of the black community and the Jewish communities that are Democrat. But there's all the Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro's out there that also show that no, it's actually not DNA. It's free choice. So we're choosing from our mindset, from our worldview. We're choosing what we believe and how we see the world. And experience certainly plays into it. But sometimes the same experience can drive people in opposite directions on worldview. So we've established here that we have a choice of worldview that we take upon. I myself, I have a conservative worldview, a very traditional American conservative worldview. I have friends that are just the opposite of that, and some of us get along very well, even in the age of Trump. It's not easy. So let's apply this concept to the reasoning behind why there's such a sharp and uniform divide over reopening, because I think it's a great revealer of who we are and why we think this way. So consider, what's the mindset of people on the right? Well, I would say it's typically we either engage in or we appreciate rugged individualism. We like individual rights. We tend to treasure living in a republic, and we respect other people's rights and choices. We tend to trust Americans over the government. The left mindset of a progressive, a liberal progressive, is that they put more faith and trust in institutions, in systems, and in government. And they tend to have a fairly steep distrust of fellow Americans. I don't think that most of them would say that, but it comes through very clearly when we're talking about the shutdown, because most of my Democrat liberal friends who are opposing reopening right now, who were very, very quick to jump on to closing things down and to the shutdown, and why did people in Florida wait so long? Why did Governor DeSantis wait so long? It's looking like by the numbers that maybe that was a pretty good choice. Certainly no harm done. But they were very quick to want that. And now they are almost uniformly afraid we're reopening too soon. We shouldn't be opening so soon. And they are backing the governors who aren't doing it, and they're attacking the governors that are reopening. So why is that? One of the reasons that they give is they give the anecdotes, such as look at the beaches in Florida, look at spring break. It's kind of a long time ago now. Look at Jacksonville. Well, the aerial photos showed that those long distance photos that were zoomed in on and that looked to compress people to be much closer, it wasn't a problem in Jacksonville. We've reopened the beaches here where I live in Sarasota County. It's not a problem. People are social distancing. People were social distancing before the shutdown. A lot of that was already going on. So my leftist friends, though, they look at that and they say, see, people can't be trusted to make the right choices. That's what they're saying. They're saying literally, I see it in conversations, I see it in my social media feed when I'm engaging with them. what happens if we reopen and people just start going to the beaches and having parties and hanging out together, and they get infected and then they spread it to me and then I'm infected? That is their logic. Well, that is the logic of the mindset of a progressive. They don't trust Americans are going to make the right choices. They really think we're not going to make the right choices. On the flip side, somebody like me, I happen to think most Americans will make the right choices. Most Americans were making the right choices before any governments were shutting down, certainly before there was broad-based shutdowns. Myself, my family, we were practicing social distancing weeks before the shutdown. Now, I'm in a high-risk group because I have asthma and I'm 60. So, it's a higher risk group there. So we're being careful. We will continue to be careful. I will continue to be careful. I think most Americans will make the right choice. There will be some that won't, because there's always some yahoos somewhere doing something stupid, right? So there's going to be some that won't. They will have consequences for that, and some people around them may have consequences for that. But on the right, our mindset is we see the government as invariably making things worse. So we actually trust most Americans to do the right thing than we trust government to be able to improve things and make them better. And I think this explains a lot of the breakdown in the partisanship. It is not necessarily just partisan. And I come to this because I have Democrat friends, and they absolutely do not want, the ones that I know, absolutely do not want bad things to happen to their neighbors just so Trump can get out of office. And they hate Trump. With the brilliance of a billion suns, they hate Trump. But for them anyway, now this might not be true in the halls of Congress and the leadership of the Democrat Party. This might not be true at all. But for just your average Democrats who would be friends of mine, it does seem to be true. And this is what leads me to the conclusion that it's not about the partisanship as much as, or at least certainly not totally. An important element of this is the different mindset that drew me to conservatism and that drew them to liberal progressivism. I don't think the government's going to make the right choices. I don't think the government probably has made a lot of the right choices. I think most Americans have. And I think that's where been the largest impact. And you see this. When you see the private sector and their response to this, that is exactly the mindset that a conservative would expect to happen. They would expect everybody from GM and Ford and Google and others to respond quite quickly. Yeah, Google too. That's right, because they did. To help stem the problem, to manufacture what's needed, to meet needs in areas, all the way down to, local distilleries that switched over to making sanitizers. None of that surprised me. I just loved it. Total Americana, right? This is my mindset. But on the left, barely even saw that stuff, or they saw some sort of nefarious connection between Trump and GM, or between Republicans and big business, etc. And that's just, that's just a mindset issue more than a get Trump issue. That's a mindset issue. They would think that regardless of who was in the Oval Office. So I think that helps explain a little bit as to this partisan divide. And it might explain a whole lot more issues going forward. If you can think these things through sometimes, and this cannot be done on Twitter. This is why I spend virtually no time on Twitter whatsoever. I'll spend some time on Facebook. I have my own website at therevolutionaryact.com, and a lot of different people write for that one. But I think sometimes just being able to talk it through like this helps so much. A lot of people that have asked me to do something similar to this, and I am thrilled to do it. I'm thrilled to do it. And I think that it can help us all to reason together. Come, let us reason together. Well, that's right. And reason suggests that a big part of the divide over reopening is the mindset that brought each one of us to being generally right of center or generally left of center. Thank you. God bless you.